The Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Bridgetown, Barbados, adopted the Baby-Friendly Hospital Initiative with the goal of protecting, promoting, and supporting breastfeeding. The Chief Executive Officer of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital, Barbados, explains how the Baby-Friendly Hospital Initiative fits into the overall goals of the hospital.
Well, the Queen Elizabeth Hospital has set, as part of its strategic vision, the move towards a series of international accreditation, certainly to raise the bar with respect to quality of what we provide, patient safety, and certainly at the end of it to improve the patient care experience.
The policy that we have in place is one that seeks to bring together all the multifaceted persons in the team, doctors or pediatricians, midwives. It has been taken on board by our staff, and they are fully cognizant of their role, and they work assiduously to ensure that we can complete our mandate of ensuring that this institution is baby friendly.
After the hurricane, our facilities weren't up and running full capacity. I was sent there by my hospital here in Anguilla because I would have to have an emergency C-section. So it was better if I was sent somewhere where they could handle the situation. So they spoke to Barbados and they said that they could do it. So I was sent there, luckily, and now I have him.
I remember Shalifa Wade, a patient who came to this hospital from Anguilla in October 2017, and she came here with a diagnosis of PAHO at 36 weeks gestational pregnancy for delivery.
They were amazing. The first day after I had him, they brought him to me. They have to bring him to see if he's gonna nurse and whatnot. And the nurse was so sweet and polite, and you know, she talked to me. And he latched on, and there were times when I was tired, and they would still help me to, you know, get through it. They were wonderful. They were really wonderful.
So we believe that this was an extremely noble program to complement our strategic vision for improving the patient care experience and certainly the experiences of mothers who are about to deliver babies at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital.
My role in breastfeeding initiative was 1 at ministerial level and 2 at departmental level. At the ministerial level, we met with the representative from the ministry, polyclinics, pediatrics, provides a policy for the island. At the departmental level, they implement the policy as far as training. Training will involve all staff, both medical and non-medical. The non-medical staff include the maids, orderlies, nursing assistants, and other support staff. The medical include the medical students, nursing students, doctors, registrars, midwives, consultants, everybody gets trained.
BFHI stands for Baby Friendly Hospital Initiative. That is, that mothers delivering in this institution will exclusively breastfeed their babies for the first 6 months of life.
Directly after delivery, we encourage skin to skin in our lilac blanket. At skin to skin, we also encourage the mother to have the baby latch onto the breast. Positioning is important, so we teach them the cradle position where baby is laying directly facing the mother and not laying on the back with neck trying to face the mother. So we try to make sure that they're able to cradle adequately. And with the breasts, you check to make sure that they're active. Once the breasts are active, either left or right, then we go ahead and we attempt to have baby latch on with the entire areola inside of the mouth, kind of like in this position. And then baby usually naturally starts to suckle because that's innate for them.
Along the continuum, there certainly were a number of challenges. Some of it were internal and some of it were external. Internal to us was to get buy-in across various health professionals or doctors and our nurses once we got past that stage, the issue of routinely documenting, our experiences. For instance, there was the need for us to maintain logs on the number of persons we've trained up. We had to maintain, information on patients who have objected to even having been part of the baby-friendly initiative. So a lot of it was internal to us.
So from the very beginning, we provide supportive care to the mothers in the form of education so that they can initiate lactation at a time when their baby is unable to do so. Babies may be unable to breastfeed initially because they may be too premature to do so. The ability to suck is something that does not develop until the baby is at least 32 weeks. They may be sick and have medical problems that will preclude them from beginning to breastfeed or being able to tolerate feedings. They may be on a ventilator. The babies also are separated from their moms, which is something that can be quite challenging for their parents. And so from the very beginning, we need to provide a supportive environment.
There's also the need for us to strengthen our communications with our lactating mothers at the antenatal stage. As you know, many are accustomed to using milk formulas and as opposed to breastfeeding. So that was a whole big change initiative for us. We had to now really demonstrate the benefits of breastfeeding to our mothers.
We have a number of groups that support us. First, we have the National Breastfeeding Group. Then we have the breastfeeding groups in the community. We have breastfeeding and child nutrition go together because we're looking at reducing infant mortality, asthma, inflammation, bowel problems, infant cot death. These things can be easily reduced when mothers are breastfeeding. We also have a breastfeeding group that has been formed with the staff of the hospital here, mothers who had breastfed for 6 months exclusively.
We have a baby-friendly environment, so what we do as a work environment is to provide an environment where the mommies can have a 7 to 3 shift or an early morning shift where they can drop babies off to nursery and not have to work night or late shifts so that they can support breastfeeding at the institution where I work.
I would have started the group initially because I would have been exposed to breastfeeding myself as a member of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. I would have been exposed to a lot of information previous to my pregnancy about breastfeeding and the importance of breastfeeding a child, and I was inspired to also exclusively breastfeed my baby. I then became a member of the group where I was able to share my experiences.
Well, I find that new mothers some of them are not very receptive to the practice of breastfeeding. But as long as you explain to them cost factors, benefits to the infant, nutritional values that you would pass on to the infant, then it becomes easier for them to understand, and then they are willing to practice.
This is our new lactation room. We have some new staff members, obviously younger members of staff who would have recently had babies. So we have this room where they can use to express their breast milk so that their children will be well fed.
Mommies face quite a myriad of problems when they are intending to breastfeed, and more so exclusively. So sometimes they believe that they cannot produce enough milk. Sometimes they get very sore nipples. Sometimes there is not enough family support from the significant other.
And also, one of the things you should mention is that he normally would take him out the crib and give him to me and relieve me of having to get up.
Yeah.
That's one thing that also is very helpful.
Right, it's all about relieving the stress from the mom. Carrying the baby for 9 months, I'm the father, can't do that. No, I was not designed for that. So she took him for 9 months. And you know, on delivery, you would give the you have to give the mother the relief that she needs so that she can go back through her healing process. So, you know, when he's crying in the cradle, you would take him out so she can breastfeed. Or if a situation arises where she's feeling sore, her breast is feeling sore, you can pump them off a bit so that, you know, she can rest and you can feed the baby.
We do audits to see whether the 10 steps are in fact being adhered to. And based on the findings of those audits, we use that as a basis for taking corrective actions to strengthen and improve on what we do. And in areas where we're not doing so well, we take corrective actions to ensure that we preserve the requirements under the 10 steps. These are independent audits that are done by a cohort of staff who will simply review the entire system and then provide feedback to us. We then have a closing conference with key stakeholders to discuss the findings and certainly celebrate where we continue to do better. And in areas where we may there's need for improvement, heads of departments are asked to take the corrective actions to make sure that we preserve the expectations and requirements and protocols under the 10 steps.
I would like to say thank you to everyone in Barbados. I do not remember all of my nurses' names. I know all of the nurses in the ward that took care of me were amazing. They were sweet. I still keep in contact with Dr. LaFont. I'd just like to say thank you to all of them. They made my stay easy. They made my stay feel like it was home. You're a blessing.